Section 1. A sweltering summer discovery.
So, consider the stark contrast here. Imagine Malik's deep, crushing disappointment as he reaches way into the back of the freezer and pulls out an empty ice cream carton. I mean, Ifra's just sighing in the background. It's a total letdown. The treats are gone, leaving only that useless, rock-hard frost at the back of the shelf. But then, Malik moves aside a totally mundane bag of frozen peas, and what does he actually find? A tiny sapphire blue dragon. Its scales look exactly like frosted glass, and it's just curled up, taking a nap in a little nest of ice cubes. They go from absolute zero expectations to discovering this shimmering, impossible creature that completely defies the reality of a modern kitchen.
This just beautifully illustrates the immediate magic of the moment. The tiny dragon opens its glowing white eyes, lets out this minuscule little yawn, and, get this, exhales a puff of glittering diamond dust that instantly frosts up Malik's glasses. The refrigerator dragon is awake, and with just one misty breath, it takes the heavy, humid, miserable air of that kitchen and turns it into a swirl of sparkling snow. It's an absolute visual marvel. It literally turns this ordinary household appliance into a portal of winter magic.
So, what do you do when you find a mythical frost beast just chilling in your Frigidaire? Well, Ifra realizes pretty much immediately that this creature isn't a threat at all. She giggles and playfully offers the little guy a single ice cube. And the dragon? It catches it midair, crunching it down like the most delicious, freezing treat you can possibly imagine. This really shows us that the dragon isn't some terrifying, dangerous monster. It's just a very hungry, very cold traveler that somehow found refuge in the only Arctic climate available in their entire house. They're making friends.
Moving on to Section 2, the Great Power Outage.
All right, let's trace exactly how this crisis unfolds because things go south fast. Instantly, the humming of the refrigerator and the oscillating fan just stops. Seconds later, the kitchen lights flicker and completely die. The neighborhood power grid has totally failed under the massive pressure of the heat wave. Minutes later, the freezer starts to warm up. And then, critical danger. Malik sees a single drop of water falling from a melting icicle inside the freezer. The dragon actually begins to droop, literally losing its radiant sapphire glow. Time is running out, and the heat is closing in, fast.
But Malik and Ifra, they don't just sit there. They launch the cooler box mission. First, Ifra sprints to the garage and drags in this large red plastic cooler box. Next, Malik frantically gathers every single ice pack and bag of frozen corn they own. Their ultimate goal? To build a bathtub fortress. It's this fast-paced, do-or-die survival strategy to save their magical creature before the temperature in the house rises to a lethal level.
Which brings us to Section 3, an Arctic bathroom oasis.
We literally have a battle of the elements happening in real time here. Outside, the relentless, intense summer sun beats against the bathroom window, just aggressively trying to turn their precious ice into a puddle of water. But inside, the kids mount their desperate defense. They're using the naturally cool porcelain of the bathtub, piling it high with their dwindling frost, the ice bags, the frozen corn. Malik carefully places the dragon onto this white mountain, but honestly, their makeshift Arctic fortress is barely holding on.
And right here is the magical climax of our story. The dragon, standing on this rapidly melting block of ice, looks up and sees the deep worry just etched onto Ifra's face. He realizes these kids are doing absolutely everything in their power to save its life. So it stands tall, gathers every last ounce of its fading strength, and unleashes a powerful rhythmic roar of blue mist. It's just this incredible selfless act of gratitude and survival.
And just look at the results of that magical roar. The entire bathroom is instantly frozen solid. Beautiful, thick ice sculptures form all over the room. Hanging frost completely covers the walls and the ceiling. For a few incredible hours, the bathroom is totally transformed into a winter wonderland oasis. It becomes this perfect, impenetrable bubble where that aggressive summer heat simply cannot reach Malik, Ifra, or their shivering little sapphire friend. They actually get to sit there in the freezing cold, shivering happily together right in the middle of a massive heat wave.
Section 4, a chilly, bittersweet goodbye.
So Malik has called the only people who can actually help, a specialized Arctic rescue van from the local aquarium.
The rescue team arrives, and a scientist very carefully places the little dragon into a high-tech, glowing frost chamber. It's a permanent, freezing home where it will be completely safe. And then we get this incredibly touching moment. The dragon presses its tiny claw against the glass of the chamber to wave at Ifra. Ifra feels the sharp tug at her heart. I mean, it's sad to see their new friend go, but it's a bittersweet goodbye because she knows, fundamentally, that letting the dragon go is the absolute only way to ensure it stays safe and happy permanently.
Immediately following the van's departure, reality kind of just restores itself. The power suddenly snaps back on, the refrigerator in the kitchen starts its familiar humming again, and as evening falls, that heavy, oppressive heat of the day finally begins to lift. The crisis has passed, electricity has returned, but as Malik and Ifra stand in their kitchen, it feels notably quieter. And honestly, a little emptier without their magical, icy guest.
However, they weren't left entirely empty-handed. Malik goes to check the freezer now that the power is back on, and sitting right there on the shelf is exactly one item. One single, never-melting blue ice crystal, perfectly shaped like a dragon's scale. It's a magical souvenir, right? A tangible piece of winter left behind by the refrigerator dragon to keep them cool and to remind them of their crazy adventure forever.
Which leaves us with this final thought, and it's something I really want you to take away from this explainer today. What kind of magic might be hiding in the everyday, quiet places of your own home? This story beautifully illustrates how wonder can be tucked away right behind a bag of frozen peas, just waiting to be discovered. It teaches us to look a little closer at the ordinary. I hope you found this structured journey through the story as fascinating as I